want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. So the reason I'm doing this video is just a short warning to anybody and everybody that can clearly hear my voice. Um, Everything is in a sense in a type of transition, right? And during transitions, things will grow and other things will die out, right? Things will exist, things will be built, and other things will be phased directly out. And for the longest time possible since the inception, right, of the United States of America, we've always had a mom and pop shop. We've always had brick and mortar type of stores that we can directly go to and, have interactions and yada, yada, yada. But because of 2 years that were pretty much erased um, directly off of the field, it has helped to accelerate or jumpstart or kickstart the planning or a way for a lot of these stores to, in a sense, make an exit. So there was something that came out about Walmart, as you can see directly in front of you. It says Walmart CEO warns company will close stores if theft doesn't slow down. This is just an image of theft from another random store. You can clearly see the guy right there with the bag loading up on some pants, walking directly out the store. And then you see a woman putting on her coat and, walking directly out as well. More than likely, that wasn't even her coat. So these are some of the things that happen at a lot of these stores. And if you do a little bit of research, you'll find out in certain stores, theft like this is actually a daily thing, an hourly thing, a minute by minute thing where people will literally come in, be like, all right, well, today I want to sit up there and take some underwear. Where today I want to take some shoes. Today I want to take a purse. Today I want to take this. Today I want to take that. They literally go in there and take it. And the stores do nothing. The people who work the stores can't do anything either because remember you can't put your hands on anybody, you can't touch them because you're liable for a lawsuit even if somebody is stealing. And this is when I tell people that it's laws out here to protect the criminal element, but there are no laws to protect the good people from the criminal element or to protect the good people defending, right, against the actions of the criminal element. So that's why it's in a sense on a much more of a positive track, in a sense, to be a criminal versus to be somebody who is just paying their taxes, paying their bills, and working day to day, and so on and so on and so on. So, in the next picture that we have here says that shoplifting has reportedly become a $94.5 billion problem for United States retailers. New report identifies United States retailer loses 60 billion a year. Employee theft, the top concern. So, as I've stated to you previously, theft is something that is given all the leeway in the world. Employees can't do anything. The police pretty much aren't even around. The store employees can't even stop it. If security is there, then that's potentially a liability or whatever it is, and they'll just get hemmed up for a lawsuit. On top of the fact of bad social media press, on top of the fact that the person that stole still gets away with it and gets defended and is made the victim all in the same round. So this is pretty much where we are at this moment in time. And the other thing I want to also list to people is that if you do have some retailers, let's say if it's like a mom and pop shop or like a small store that's, within like a city, they open up like, 3 to 4 stores. What these stores will start to do, instead of just having normal security, they got like a flashlight, stuff like that, they'll start getting armed security. This will then increase the rise or start the rise of privatized security, of armed security. You'll start to see that a lot more. And then you'll see a variety of different actions and movements and shifts take place because of that one piece that was, in a sense, placed there as a deterrent. And the other aspect as well is that now, because you have the theft that is able to happen normally without anybody realistically doing anything, now you have people who are going to sign up to be employees just to go there and be able to steal behind the scenes. And you also have rings of individuals who go through store after store after store after store. Like if you go through any city and you look up some of the crimes that have taken place, you'll see certain areas that are strip malls that have been hit back to back to back to back because there are rings, there are groups of these people. Some of them have inside men, employees or managers, what have you, and they will just end up allowing these things to, in a sense, take place, making it seem as though that this is just something that randomly happened. So, as I stated before, you have a lot of people that are planted in these places in order for certain things to transpire as well. This is another reason why they said that employee theft is also the top concern because they too are also in on it. So the next thing I want to, in a sense, list is something I would consider I guess you could say, a brick and mortar, or in a sense, a food retail type of, drought, which is what they are causing. I'm not saying the thieves are causing this. This is what the businesses, this is what the government and many others are, in a sense, causing in order to, have certain things happen, in order to make moves and shift certain pieces in play in order to enact certain things that we are slowly but surely starting to see. So this is just a list of the few markets across the United States, or the brick and mortar stores that have closed. We have Acme Markets, Amazon bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Bed Bath and Beyond, CVS, Kmart, Stop and Shop, Superfood Town, Walgreens, Microsoft, 7-Eleven, Bye Bye Baby, and Superfood Town. And this is just only a list of a few. There are many, many, many more brick and mortar retailers that have closed up shop. You can even throw in some mom and pop shops. You can throw in some restaurants. There's a lot of them that have started to close up. And the thing that people have to pay attention to when I said like the food drought, if you have an area, let's say the inner city, right? And let's say that city pretty much around, 40 blocks, right? They all of them pretty much go to Stop and Shop. They have Stop and Shops at, such and such locations. Let's say out of the 40 blocks, they maybe have about 10, maybe like 15 Stop and Shops, right? But for whatever reason, that Stop and Shop wanted to list, they were like, all right, well, we got to pull back. We got to start, closing down some stores. So then they're like, people are like, all right, so, they start closing down, maybe like 1 to 5 stores. No problem, because people can still, go through and, you know, find another Stop and Shop. But then it goes to 5 to 10. So now remember, originally we had about 15. So automatically now we're left with 5. So now those 40 areas all have to try to converge and make their way to those Stop and Shops where they normally get their groceries. And then last but not least, Stop and Shop finally closes the last 5 that are there. So now what happens? Now one of the main stores, the main brick and mortars that people relied on to get their groceries from, no longer exist. And Stop and Shop, along with many of these other big name markets, have bought up a lot of the smaller markets that used to reside in those places. Either the people sold them, or they were bought out, or they weren't able to make enough money to stay in business. Any which one of the three that took place, it happened. Stop and Shop stepped in, and they basically filled in that gap. And they filled it in to the point where people were used to where people weren't trying to go anywhere else, where nobody had the idea of like, hey, the future is they could potentially leave. We still need a market, right? So, due to the fact that people were conditioned to believe that this market would be here, now they're without this market and now they don't have anywhere to really get their food, or there are far few and in between places for them to realistically get the food that they actually need. So now once that starts taking place, once the markets start, disappearing and the brick and mortar businesses start disappearing, on top of the fact that the job market is in the condition that it is, on top of the fact that the economy is the way that it is, on top of the fact that the crime is the way that it is, on top of the fact that police response is the way that it is, on top of the fact that school education is the way that it is, on top of the fact that the communities are dilapidated and they're in almost like a zombie standstill type of state, on top of the fact that the states and the cities refuse to actually do anything to increase the type of funding and protections and the educations and the life benefits, meaning health wise, like hospitals and so on, due to the fact that they don't want to invest in order to facilitate that, you start to have people leave, you start to have people migrate. And the main thing that I'm telling people is that a lot of this is taking place in the inner cities first, because they are forcing people from the inner cities to basically move elsewhere, therefore shifting that demographic from the suburbs back to the inner city. It's a whole swap that is literally taking place. And this is one of the main things that even back in high school I set up that I would talk to my friends about, and I would try to inform them like, yo, they're making a lot of shifts out here. And this is in a sense, the main joke. It's a truthful thing, but the main thing in the black community is the moment of time that we, in a sense, start seeing new stuff getting put up, bike lanes, street lights, turn signals, tea shops, all these other types of things, we know that quote unquote new money is coming in, which means that that new money is going to push all of us out. And the only place for all of us to go is where they used to reside, which is the suburbs. And, this is why I told a lot of black people, like, hey, y'all need to be smart. Y'all need to start, the ones that are like minded, y'all need to start trying to hold on by the block and all these other types of things, because your housing or whatever it is might not be worth it could even be an apartment. It might not be worth anything right now, but it's going to inevitably be worth something a little bit. You got to play a little bit of the long game. But during that transition, you're going to see, different pricing and different things like that is going to have to work out to stabilize itself. But once it finally stabilizes, you're going to then start seeing the economy also pick up as well. Once the economy picks up, you're going to start seeing people's money pick up. So then once people's money pick up, you're going to start to see new businesses start to start up. Once those new businesses start up, now you're going to start to see rent and everything else start to increase and go up as well. So, as the property value and everything else goes up, so does the rent, which also means that the value of wherever it is that you reside is also going to go up as well, which means that if you want to sell it, if you can, or, whatever you're doing, you can decide to do that. So, again, all of these things are shifts and changes that they are enacting in order to have certain things transpire. And the main people that are being in a sense left behind on this is the black community, because I can tell you the white community knows about this, Asian community knows about this, the Latin community knows about this, every other community knows about these transitions and these changes. But due to the fact that the black community is at a standstill and has always been at a standstill, this is why, you know, we are the way that we are. This is why movement is, in a sense, not happening. Because the 9 times out of 10, what'll happen is that you'll have some people roll up. Well, you can't speak for all the black community. You can't sit up there and speak for me. And I'm like, That's great. You're an individual, a part of other individuals, part of a smaller group of individuals who know this information and who are moving and reading the signs. That is so great that you wanted to highlight and let everybody know that you are directly on, the path. You know everything that's happening. Great. That doesn't account for the millions of black people that don't, that are not in that circle, that are not of that money, that are not of that knowledge. So, again, there's going to, end up being a variety of people that want to say a variety of things. My main thing is to try to inform, the black community as much as I can, as best as I can when it comes to a lot of these shifts and these changes that are taking place. So hopefully, people will pay attention. If not, it is what it is.